Europeans have always been liars. This isn't about lying in the ordinary sense. This is about fabricating entire realities. Europeans have never understood memory. Europeans have always misunderstood rocks. Europeans still can't figure out jewelry. It's been thousands of years. Europeans have always been proud of colonialism. Europeans have always been liars. This isn't about lying in the ordinary sense. This is about fabricating entire realities. Legal, theological, cartographic, then killing anyone who didn't believe them. Europeans called the world undiscovered while standing on thriving civilizations. The Apache didn't need maps to know their land. They knew where the water rose in spring, where the antelope migrated, and where a single footprint meant a traveler passed 4 hours earlier. Meanwhile, Europeans drew maps where entire continents were labeled as terra nullius, nobody's land, to justify stealing things they could never understand. To this day, land acknowledgments are needed because the truth was so systemically buried. Between 1600 and 1900, the U.S. signed over 500 treaties with indigenous nations, every single one broken, ignored, or reinterpreted. The Apache relied on honor-based diplomacy. Truth was action, not paper. If a promise was made, it was backed by kinship obligation, not loophole-ridden documents. Europeans, on the other hand, wrote treaties in foreign languages, imposed deadlines impossible to meet, and used delay as a tactic of dispossession. A document in Latin isn't truth. It's just a spell of empire. The Catholic Church claimed it held the truth of God, then used that to justify genocide, rape, and forced conversion. The doctrine of discovery, papal bulls of 1452 and 1493, told Europeans they could take any land not ruled by Christians. Meanwhile, Apache cosmology didn't separate truth from ecology. To lie about the land was to break harmony with it, a crime not just against humans, but against the earth itself. Europeans burned libraries, retranslated Bibles to suit monarchs, erased oral traditions because they couldn't control a truth that wasn't written down. The so-called European Age of Enlightenment was founded on stealing, distorting, and rebranding global knowledge. They denied the circulation of blood until Harvey said it, though it was already known in Yoruba, Chinese, and Ayurvedic medicine. They claimed to invent inoculation, while Ottoman women, West African healers, and Quechua shamans had practiced it for centuries. The Apache knew the uses of over 500 plants in their region, while Europeans were still bleeding people to balance humors. Truth for Europeans was never about accuracy. It was about authority. When the U.S. government began counting Apache people, they counted full-bloodedness by phenotype, then altered that to strip land claims. The census became a lie told with numbers, not to describe a people, but to erase them bureaucratically. In Apache oral memory, you are who you walk with, not what fraction a settler writes on a form. Europeans, by contrast, invented truth that only existed on paper, and killed to enforce it. The British called their empire free, while running the largest human trafficking operation in history. The French said liberté, while massacring Algerians, burning villages, and beheading resistance fighters. The Americans spoke of freedom, while starving the Apache, exiling Geronimo, and kidnapping children for boarding schools. The lie was never just spoken. It was weaponized, wrapped in law, dressed in velvet, then dropped like a guillotine. The Apache didn't need lawyers to tell the truth. They lived it. Europeans needed courts, wigs, chains, and ink, because their truth was never real. It was always written, reworded, and revised to maintain control. So when people ask why we don't trust the system, it's because the system was built by people who'd never told the truth a day in their history. Cope.
Europeans that Europeans here, Europeans north, south, whatsoever, you guys are still going to be watching more of these videos. First, hello guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel, It Vibes, and I'm back again with another mind-blowing video. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are fine, hope you guys are good. If it's first time saying, do it, subscribe, like this video, drop me a comment, and lastly, do not forget to share for every other person to get this good news. So yeah, I have actually been seeing these videos flying, and people has actually been talking about it, where this man is actually dropping a chill-born truth of Europeans. Anyways, who am I to say everything he says are correct? Who am I to say everything he says they are right? On my own opinion. So let me know in the comment section. Do you think that everything that this man has actually been saying in his videos, they are right, they are correct? I want to know in the comment section. But these are some of the European histories that he decided to be pulling out here. And I have other bunch of videos for you guys to also catch up on. So I say, let me come and say hi to you guys. Let's watch, let's listen, let's get education from here, and let's dive right into this particular video.
Europeans have never understood memory. Not individual memory, not ancestral memory, not spatial memory, not cultural memory, not even short-term memory. Europeans have always treated memory like a threat, something to burn, bleach, rename, conquer, or outsource. The continent's relationship to memory is less like a library and more like a crime scene, with every witness gagged, every record redacted, and every photo crudely repainted with a white man's face. This is the only civilization that thought memory could be colonized. They erased other people's histories, then got amnesia about the erasure. They built museums full of stolen artifacts, then forgot where they stole them from. They turned oral traditions into primitive myths, then couldn't remember how to pronounce the names of the people who they took them from. They renamed every place they touched, then claimed those names were ancient. They called memory nostalgia, and built their entire identity out of fantasy. You want proof? In Germany, they erased local Slavic populations, like the Sorbs, and then forgot they were ever there. In France, they renamed African children Christian names, and forced them to forget their mother tongues. In England, they memory hold the fact that they colonized Ireland, centuries before they even touched Africa. In Spain, they burned entire libraries in Al-Andalus, literal archives of North African, Arab, and Jewish knowledge, and then acted like they invented astronomy. In Belgium, they still teach colonial civilization propaganda in schools, without once mentioning the hands they cut off in the Congo. Europe isn't just bad at remembering, it's terrified of memory, because memory means accountability. Memory means continuity. Memory means you can't just pretend it didn't happen because you changed the textbooks in 1842. That's why they pathologized every society that treasured memory. The griots of West Africa, illiterate. The bark scrolls of the Great Lakes people, primitive art. The quipu of the Andes, unreliable strings. The mnemonic palaces of India, superstition. The living genealogies of the Maori, unscientific. Meanwhile, Europe built archives that require Latin fluency, mail access, and Vatican permission to even read. They stored sacred texts under lock and key, and then made memory a class privilege. And when that didn't work, they invented forgetting as a coping mechanism. We don't teach that anymore. That wasn't us. That was the Romans. That's not our responsibility. It was a different government. That statue doesn't mean what you think. Can't we just move on? No, because memory is still there. In the soil, in the bones, in the chants, in the burns on the books, in the missing children, the renamed rivers, in the languages you tried to drown, but couldn't fully kill. Europe is the only place where forgetting is a civic virtue, where history is not remembered, but curated, where time itself is whitewashed until it forgets who bled in it. They never understood memory, because memory resists conquest, and conquest, for Europe, was always the point. Cope. Europeans have always misunderstood rocks. They never listened. They never sat with a stone long enough to feel its temperature shift. never touched it without wanting to cut it, sell it, own it. To them, rocks were either weapons or wealth, never wisdom. They looked at a cliff and saw a challenge to conquer. Everyone else saw a spine of earth, a place to make offerings. They saw mountains as things to tunnel through. Everyone else saw them as elders, rising in stillness to remind what permanence feels like. They took obsidian, sacred and sharp enough to cut through ego, and turned it into paperweights and tourist trinkets. They saw jade and only thought of price per gram, never the prayers it holds or the rivers it guards. They wear quartz to vibe higher while stepping over the graves of those who first sang to it. Europeans called them rocks. Everyone else called them by name. They didn't just miss the point. They quarried it, blasted it, polished it, exported it, and filed it under mineral resource. They think granite is just a countertop finish, not the frozen memory of fire and time. When indigenous peoples place stones in spirals, stacks, circles, Europeans called it random. When druids aligned stones to solstices, Europeans called it myth. When they themselves did it centuries later, they called it architecture. They steal sacred meteorites and call it curating. They drill into sacred stone formations for mining samples and call it progress. They cut ceremonial stones in half just to study the cross-section, then publish papers asking why indigenous people no longer trust scientists. Stone circles that mapped the stars before telescopes. They bulldoze them for parking lots. Petroglyphs that encoded cosmology, harvest cycles, and birth stories, scrubbed off for preservation. They called it prehistory because they weren't in it. To them, basalt is a construction material. To everyone else, it's the cooled blood of Earth herself. They try to own what they can't even hear. A stone isn't just a thing. It's a witness. It's been here longer than empire, and it'll be here long after. The rocks remember. The question is, will we let them speak, or keep letting Europeans try to sell them back to us, one polished crystal at a time? Cope.
This particular man has been dropping some real chilly facts about the Europeans. Anyways, who am I to say everything he's saying is absolutely right, or who am I to say everything he's saying is absolutely wrong? And that is why I'm actually bringing out this video to you guys, so that we can be able to talk in the comment section to know what he's saying. Do you think that the man is actually splitting facts? This man just personally went all the way out for Europeans, like letting us know the European history, how it came about, how they were able to like colonize or do one or two things in each of the countries, and so on and so forth. I know that you guys are definitely going to learn a lot from this, and you guys are going to also let me know your opinion if what is actually saying is true. Anyways, hi guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. It's Sonia, and I'm back again with another mind-blowing video. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are fine. Hope you guys are good. If it's the first time tuning in, do a subscribe, like this video, drop in your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share. I have a bunch of videos for you guys to actually catch up on, so I'll just go ahead and let you guys enjoy more of this chilling truths. And you guys, let's just keep enjoying this video. Credit belongs to the clips inserted in this particular video, and let's just dive right in. Okay.
Europeans have always been proud of colonialism, not ashamed, not regretful, proud, like a dog dragging a rotting carcass into the living room and smiling about it. They don't whisper about colonialism. They commemorate it. Statues, museums, street names, national holidays. They immortalized mass murder like it was a graduation ceremony. Churches still sit on the bones. Estates still hoard the blood money. Textbooks still call it exploration, and they still want applause for it. This wasn't a passing phase. It was the national personality. The British crowned themselves off of the back of severed Congolese hands, and still have the audacity to televise coronations like it's pageantry, not necromancy. The French turned Haiti into a sugar-coated slaughterhouse, and then demanded reparations from the people they enslaved. The Dutch sold children like livestock and wrote it off as trade. The Spanish gutted entire civilizations and called it conversion. And the Belgians, They didn't colonize. They maimed. With clinical precision. With rubber quotas and iron rods. And yet every single one of them still insists their influence was positive. Still clinging to that diseased delusion that giving smallpox, whips, and Bibles to the world was somehow a gift. Still turning genocide into museum tours and plantation weddings. Still claiming they built railroads, as if trains erase all trauma. Meanwhile, non-European civilizations who built empires, hospitals, astronomical calendars, universities, irrigation systems, spiritual doctrines, and ethical codes without annihilating half the planet are called primitive. Let's be clear, colonialism wasn't a side quest. It was the European identity, their art, their architecture, their entire economy, stitched from pillaged continents and scorched villages, and they've never stopped celebrating it. They put genociders on their money. They name warships after conquerors. They teach their children to be proud of empire, proud of empire, proud of how they sterilized indigenous women, proud of how they fenced in people like livestock, proud of how they salted the soil, banned languages, kidnapped generations, renamed everything sacred, and then dared to call it civilization. It's not just history, it's heritage. It's not in the past, it's policy. And it's not forgotten, it's branded. Like a flag stitched from the skin of the global south. Like a hymn echoing with the screams of every child stolen. Every land scorched, every ancestor sold. They have always been proud. Because without colonialism, Europe is nothing but a cold peninsula with bad weather, worse food, and a rabid superiority complex. And they know it. Cope.
It is getting deeper and it is getting hotter, to be honest. It is getting deeper because a lot of Europeans are actually coming for this man in the comment section saying, oh, what you're saying is wrong, what you're saying is this, what you're saying is that. But like I said, let us know what you think. I still have other videos or other clips for you guys to actually watch, because one beautiful part I love about this particular video is their educational videos for every other person to be able to learn from. Like, I don't even know what to say right now. You guys, you understand? I don't even know what to say, because I don't know the one I will say that Europeans will be like, oh, you're supporting this person. You guys know that we do not promote violence in this particular place. This is just for the purpose of learning, and this is just for the purpose of we coming here to air out our opinion, to say, oh, this thing he's saying, oh, he's right, this thing he's saying is wrong. So feel free to just tell us what you think in the comment section. But so far, so good. This man has been digging so deep about the European histories, how they came about, how a lot of things that actually went wrong, a lot of things that went out behind the scene that was not literally dug out for people to be able to see. So he has been able to say, oh, I've been carrying out my research and I'm here to be able to pull it out to the world for the world to actually see and see what's actually happening. Anyways, let's just get right back into this video so that you guys can enjoy. Don't forget, credit belongs to the right owners of the clips that we're inserting in this particular video. So let's just go back to this video.
Europeans have always weaponized hunger, because in European civilization, food is not sacred. It's strategic, not communal, but contractual, not nourishment. Leverage, let's be clear, across most of the world, Africa, Asia, the Islamic world, indigenous America, Oceania, food was a function of relation, not domination. It bound people to land, land to ancestors, and ancestors to memory. You fed guests as you feed kin. You stored grain for seasons of hardship. You made offerings to gods, spirits, and the soil itself. Feeding others was power, but a power expressed as protection, not punishment. But Europe built an entire civilization on the inverse. In the pre-colonial Sahel, vast granary systems were maintained for regional stability, not hoarded for elite profit. In the Andes, IU communities organized reciprocal food-sharing economies across altitudes. In Islamic West Africa, the obligation to feed the hungry was a religious mandate, not a philanthropic choice. In China, Confucian bureaucracy mandated famine relief granaries. as early as the Tang dynasty. Even the Mongol Khanates, feared as they were, maintained mobile grain routes to prevent civilian starvation. But in Europe, famine was a disciplinary tool. The enclosures in England, not just a theft of land, but theft of food sovereignty. They turned peasants into laborers by starving them off of the commons. The Irish famine, not a blight, but a policy. The British exported grain out of Ireland, while the people ate grass and rotted. The Bengal famine, direct result of British wartime hoarding, price inflation, and scorched earth rice destruction. Churchill literally said Indians breed like rabbits and didn't deserve the food. And the Herero in Namibia, German troops blocked access to waterholes to enforce extermination by thirst. The colonizers' favorite famine, the kind that doesn't need bullets. Where African empires fed cities across thousands of kilometers through river-based distribution, Europe fractured land into private plots, taxed the peasants who worked them, and criminalized subsistence farming, where Mesoamerican civilizations built milpa polyculture systems that fed millions with seasonal precision. Europe decimated indigenous agriculture and replaced it with export monocrops, cotton, sugar, tobacco, all profit, no sustenance. In the Congo, pre-colonial societies cultivated complex food forests, an integrated ecological system of fruits, tubers, nuts, and medicinal plants. The Belgians raised them to build rubber plantations, and famine followed like shadow. In Vietnam, the Red River Delta once nourished entire kingdoms. Then the French came, and suddenly rice wasn't for eating, but for shipping to Paris. When hunger swept the region, the French blamed overpopulation, not theft. Because Europeans don't just starve people. They tell them it's their fault. They invent words like underdevelopment, overpopulation, low productivity to explain away the collapse they orchestrated. They turned genocidal food policies into market inefficiencies. They label famine zones as third world problems, while locking seed genetics in Swiss vaults and suing farmers for saving crops. Meanwhile, non-European civilizations built agricultural systems around equilibrium. The Balinese Subak irrigation system, tied to temple calendars, regulated rice distribution across centuries. The Yoruba calendar integrated planting rituals with its Ifa divination to ensure balance with the ecosystem. In the Amazon, indigenous communities created terra preta, nutrient-rich soil that allowed stable agriculture in rainforest conditions thought to be infertile. They literally engineered abundance. Europe, by contrast, engineered dependence, not just on them, but on systems that fail without them. They destroyed food sovereignty and replaced it with export economies. They banned seed sharing, criminalized traditional markets, and flooded nations with processed imports. They told you that hunger was natural, that famine was unfortunate, that charity was noble. But to them, hunger is a throne, a global food chain where they sit at the top, not because they grow the most, but because they own the bottleneck. Because in their world, whoever controls the grain controls the world, and everyone else, just another mouth to manage. Cope.
At this point, I don't even know what to say again. You guys, let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section. Do you want me to be bringing more of this kind of videos for you guys to learn? I want to know in the comment section, because so far so good. Is either we have been able to learn Europeans are always from caves. What happens to Europeans? Europeans have never misunderstood alcohol. Europeans has never understood. Like, it's just a whole lot. Like, it's just a whole lot. Europeans are this, Europeans are that, Europeans here, Europeans there. Let me know what you guys think. But the truth is, honestly, a lot of people have been able to come out to like keep speaking about, oh, this is happening, that is what is happening, and so on and so forth. And it is sad that all of these are coming by this time, because a lot of people can no longer control or hold themselves to say, okay, this is what I will be saying, or this is what I'll be dishing out to the public. You guys, what do you think? Let us know in the comment section. Do you think that everything that he's saying in his video, they're actually absolutely right? Are you in support of what he's saying? Let me know as well. Drop me your opinion. Like, I just want to know from your own part, especially if you're watching and you're an European. Let me know what you think about this video personally, and so that we can actually learn together in the comment section. You understand? Like I said, me, I don't have so much to say. I don't have so much to say because I come in peace. Anyways, if you have not subscribe, like this, you drop me a comment, and lastly, do not forget to share. More videos are going to be coming your way. Check out all of our videos, and trust me, you're definitely not going to regret watching it. So yeah, I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye for now. I love you guys. Mwah.